President Trump is pushing his strategy of American energy dominance around the world, but there's a new plan of action from the EU Parliament, which is threatening to block American energy companies from Europe. One America's Jack Posobiec sat down with an energy specialist to get his take on the move.
We're happy to have back on One America News Daniel Turner, the Executive Director of Power of the Future. You just got back from the EU, and we're hearing now there's a new effort afoot to ban the U.S. energy company ExxonMobil from being able to interact with EU politicians. Are they trying to ban it from all of the EU? What is going on over there?
Europe and the EU, they don't have the same freedoms that we do in America, and it is shocking to think that a company like ExxonMobil is now prohibited from interacting with members of the European Parliament just because of the fact that they produce fossil fuels. And what's the actual response to that is they're building the Nord Stream 2 pipeline from Russia, so they'll buy Russian natural gas. We saw through the efforts of the German ambassador, Rick Grenell, trying to keep Europeans from buying oil from Iran, right? So it's bizarre that these are our allies, and they would much rather engage with Russia and Iran, and they're punishing American companies, again, all under the guise of climate change, of saving the earth, saving the planet.
What do you think the Trump administration should do as a way to kind of break this through?
If you remember about a year ago when President Trump was over there talking to our NATO allies, he had that very famous conversation at the table where he talked about all of them paying more into NATO, and he questioned Angela Merkel's pipeline from Russia, saying, we're subsidizing your NATO dues, and then the excess money, you're building a pipeline from Russia and buying gas from them. So if you are the Trump administration, I think you have to remind the European Union who their real allies are. And I don't know if there's a way for the United States to work with member nations individually rather than the EU as a whole. Obviously, we have friends in Poland, we have friends in the Czech Republic, the ones who feel most threatened militarily by the Putin regime. But there is a serious question for some of the larger member nations of the European Parliament, whether or not they are American allies or they're just buying into this globalist citizen of the world mentality.
Right, and it really goes to show you that we're now seeing the EU trying to make these decisions that actually affect all European nations on a very direct level. I mean, talking gas prices, obviously that's a daily expense for many people, but they're not even allowing the sovereign nations to be able to have a say in this. Now, it looks like you mentioned, Poland, there's the Visegrad 4 group, there's also the Three Seas Initiative. There are other ways to get trade in. We're doing the liquid natural gas deals right now in Central and Eastern Europe, but it's going to be all that much harder with the EU Parliament blocking all of this. Bottom line, what do you think they should be doing going forward?
I think the United States should be, again, working with these individual countries and even bypassing the EU. You know, these are long-standing relationships we have. The EU is a fairly new concept politically, and it's struggling.
Right, and then getting in bed with Russia and Iran. Tremendous. Thank you so much for being on with us, Daniel Turner. It's Power of the Future. Go check him out.
Thanks, Jack.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.